just don't know. I don't know. I'm looking, yeah.
Marc Clarke, that's classic. I love it.
Make sure my daughters stay away from y'all sons. I went to DC, got put on till we all want. Got put on till we all want. I went to DC, got put on till we all want.
Preparing students to demonstrate mastery of math state standards can feel like a dull, unending cycle of equations and practice problems. Unengaged, frustrated students can weigh on teacher confidence and lead to uncertainty about overall achievement. Two Ivy League-trained engineers observed this struggle and created a way to transform how students learn the fundamentals of math. Through the innovative Accoletics math program, EDA has helped more than 400,000 students achieve success on state-administered math tests and transformed the academic strategies and performance of schools nationwide. Accoletics' uniquely designed supplemental materials and tools are well aligned to your state standards and provide a clear path to exceed state proficiency standards. Through ongoing professional development, you will uncover common challenges and activate solutions that promise to improve student achievement in your school. By partnering with EDA and choosing Accoletics, you can start to see an unprecedented return on your investment in as little as one school year. Don't procrastinate on giving your teachers the tools to help students achieve their highest math potential. To learn how you can dramatically improve classroom instruction and learning, test scores, and student confidence, call, email, or visit Accoletics online today.
Good morning, family, and welcome to the show, The Marc Clarke Show. We are looking at the weekend already. It's quickly approaching. My next guest, I can't talk. My next guest, what I love about my next guest is, you know how we do. This is the first time I'm meeting my next guest in person online. And when you ask about people, hey, tell me about Dana, they were like, first word, hustler. Go ahead, Dana. They were like, she's about her business. She makes things happen. And coming up, we get a chance to see her amazing work. She's got a new stage play coming to the area. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the one and only Dana Hicks joining us. Hungerford joining us. What's up? How are you, dear?
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Welcome to the show. So Dana, again, these streets are saying that if you're dealing with Dana, she's about her business. She makes things happen. She's a grinder. She's, and it's interesting because I love that because it wasn't just one person. It was, many people. And,
oh, wow.
So I'm excited because I want to get some insight into how to make things happen. Because Dana, and the thing was, most of them were guys, as beautiful as you are, nobody was like, oh, she's fine. No, they talked about what you're about your work.
Thank you.
So Dana, talk to us about that. First of all, tell us about yourself and tell us, where you came from, who you with.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me. Well, again, my name is Dana Hicks-Hungerford. I'm a native Washingtonian, born and raised in Washington, D.C. all of my life. Um, and what you heard was correct. I am a go-getter. I love to help people. So when you talk about me being a go-getter, it's not just about me. It's about me being a go-getter and helping people around me, whether you're my friend, whether you're a new person, whether you're somebody that I met through social media. I just like being able to pull people along with me. So I don't think I'm like your typical go-getter when it's just about me. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. My mind frame is I'm going to do this so we can all do this. Let's all grind and grow together. So I do like making things happen. I'm not like, my husband is like the business part of our relationship and all of our business. I want no parts of the business aspect, like doing the business part of it. I like to just be in the trenches. I like to be out with the people. I'm a huge extrovert. So yeah, I just like making things happen. I'm very creative. I like creating my own things at times. So yeah.
And Dana, we're joined by Bootsy Vegas, one of those who told me, "Oh, she about a business. She about a business." And
Dana Dane.
Good
Dana
morning.
Dane. How you
Good morning.
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Hey, let me tell you this. You're literally one of my DMV entrepreneur heroes.
Oh,
Every time that I've seen you in any environment, you have been excelling, finding creative ways to get the message out. Mark, unknown fact about me and Dana Dane. Dana Dane had a podcast on one side of the studio. I was on Go-Go Radio. She was on the other side. We had the whole, what was that? What was that mall? What was the mall?
Iverson Mall?
We had Iverson Mall lit, Mark. So literally twice a week, we would have a podcast. I would have like the Go-Go Central podcast. She would have the Social Light Informative podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic was so crazy. It was unbelievable. Shout out to Sassy. Hello, Sassy.
Yes. Hey, Sassy.
So look, this is what we're talking about. So Dana, we want to get into your mind, Dana, because even off the rip, you know, Dana has a play. We'll be getting into that. I'm going to be emceeing the play. Dana contacted me. Boom, boom, boom. Cash App, boom, boom, boom.
Oh, wow.
Take care of business, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And so just off the rip, Bootsy, Dana was just bap, 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 you know. And Dr. Lavelle, who Dana's working with, he said the very same thing, you know, because he has the run at the Bethesda Blues and Jazz. And he's like, yeah, I'm working with this young lady, Dana, and she's about her business. She said she could do this and she could do this. And he said she did it. And so Dana, from DC, where did this come from? Where did this little Dana drive? Was it mom, dad, family, environment, DC? Where did this drive, or what lessons got you to the point where you're like, I'm going to make things happen and I'm going to bet on me? Dana's the basketball player that's okay with, if it's 5 seconds left, yeah, let me have the ball. We can make it happen. When did you come to that, Dana? Tell us, where did it start?
I think I get that from my drive and my attitude. I get that from my dad. Both of my parents went to college, worked. My dad is crazy because my dad was born in DC, but he raised himself in the street. My dad came from a very hard and harsh background. His father was an alcoholic. He watched his father beat his mom when he was young. His mom died of cancer when he was young. So my dad raised himself like, he did not come from a good background, but he always said when he got married and had kids, he wanted to be the total opposite of what he saw growing up. He was going to be a wonderful father and husband, and he was until the day he died. My parents were married until the day my dad passed. And my dad was hard. My dad was tough on me. I'm the only girl, but I'm the oldest. And I didn't understand when I was young, why is my dad so tough on me? Like, why aren't you tough on my brothers like that? And he used to say when I was very young, because you're my only girl and your daddy's not going to always be here. So I have to be tough on you. But as a child, you don't understand that. And as an adult now, I'm so appreciative for the way he raised me, because that made me the strong woman that I am today. And I think his love, his tough love, gave me the courage to always push through my pain, to always keep going, to understand that I can have whatever I want. He used to always say when I was younger, you're not meant to work for anybody. Some people are meant to be entrepreneurs. And he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. And my mother, she's dedicated. She's just a sweetheart. But my mom is more laid back. My mom is more, let's go to work, get this check. No, we're going to get this check every 2 weeks and make it happen. So it was like, I had the nurturing part from my mom's upbringing, and I had the go-getter and the toughness from my dad. And I just think that's a blessing, having two parents that were kind of like night and day, but both of them instilled very, very awesome values into me, and I've grown as an adult. And I've always wanted to do my own thing. And I'm not going to lie, when I was younger, I was very reckless. I made a lot of bad decisions. And a lot of that came from me wanting to do things my way. But in actuality, that's only to a certain extent. Like, you can't just run around doing whatever you want. If you have a job, you have to listen to your supervisor. But in my mind, I didn't want anybody telling me what to do. I wanted to be my own boss. So it got to a point where I said, you know what, Dana, you have to figure out what to do so you don't have to listen to anybody else. And my last job was at Howard University. I worked in the office of the president for President Swigert. And it's crazy because my supervisor and I got into this big old fuss. And that day that I left Howard University, I said I would never work for anybody ever again. And that has been about 13 or 14 years now that I've been self-employed. I've always figured out how to make money. It might not always been a lot of money, but you would never see me down. I would always figure it out.
And Dana, as a woman, I have 3 daughters, as a woman with this kind of mentality and having that kind of dad, can you see, as my daughter says, the bullshit coming from men a mile away? And when you do see it, you just regulate it, or does it not come your way because you have such a energy that it doesn't really come in your space?
It comes my way. Yeah, it comes my way. And at times it's very hard to deal with it. Like, I'm always the strong person that people come and talk to, but I have a few people like Dr. Lavelle Long and Gil Nelson, who's my director, my husband, and my mom, and some of my good girlfriends. I need people to go to at times, because oftentimes when you're nice and you're smiling and you're always helping people, people will try you. They will try you, but I've learned how to deal with it. And sometimes dealing with it is just letting people go and letting them be, and you stay focused. So now I think the best thing that I've been doing for myself over the past few years is staying focused. And when God removes negative energy or people, I just let them go. I don't fight to try to understand what's happening. If you have to go, I just let you go, but I have to stay focused. And I think that's why I am where I am right now, and that's the direction I'm going in, because I'm focusing on what's important to me and what's important for me and the people around me.
That's very.
I'm sorry, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, Bootsy. I didn't recognize you because your lighting is so bad. I didn't know if that's you or not. But anyway, it's Bootsy Vegas. Hey, Bootsy.
Yes, I'm so excited. That's interesting because every time I've seen Dana in a work form, I've seen Dana be a manager. I've seen her be a facilitator and all that. She definitely had that "don't come play with me" vibe all the way with her. Like, every time I gotta have been in the room, I'll be like, hey Dana.
Don't say that.
I'll be like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I know the
lady.
Literally. But Dana, I'm fascinated by you. I would love to know, what experiences did you take out of managing artists? Because I remember when you were venturing into that a little bit or whatever. What did you take from that? Because you have been successful and been able to sustain yourself in multiple positions independently in DMV or whatever. What did you take from the artist perspective?
It was fun. It was fun. And it didn't seem like work when I was doing it. I was just tapping into my resources. A lot of times I'm just like putting pieces to the puzzle together for people that I know. Mm-hmm. And if I can help you, but it's like dealing with a lot of personalities. You have to have a lot of patience. That's one thing. You definitely have to have a lot of patience. Right. And during that time, my patience is different than what it is now. Okay. So right now, I would probably be much better at it because I had patience and my tolerance is much better. But back then, it was okay and it was fun. But dealing with the multiple personalities, it was kind of stressful at times.
Yeah, it definitely can be. I would love to know, what high school did you go to?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Somebody is cutting grass, and I
Oh,
can
I'm sorry.
barely
No,
hear.
I said I've always been fascinated. What high school did you go to?
I went to Roosevelt Uptown until
It
I
makes
got
sense.
in
Man.
trouble. I was getting in a lot of trouble, and my mom yanked me out of Roosevelt and put me in Northwestern. And I was pissed. I did not want to go to a Maryland school.
And now it makes sense because you got uptown vibes, but you got uptown, Upshur Street, upper Northwest vibes all with you. And I know Mark can identify because that's where his wife is from. And you've always had those upper Northwest. I'm here to get it. What would you take from? What was your experience like growing up in the '90s, just venturing those times or whatever, trying to find your place in DC?
Oh my goodness, growing up in the 90s was the bomb. Like if I could pick one era to stay in, it would have been the 90s. It would have been the 90s. And I grew up in Northeast around Michigan Park. Absolutely. But it's crazy because the school in my zone was still Roosevelt Uptown. So I had friends from all over. And when I was a kid, I grew up in Southeast on Newcomb Street. So just being in DC and knowing so many people and just being loved in so many different areas was just a great feeling. The 90s was the bomb. It was crazy as far as crime. You can't forget that. It might have been the worst. But it was so much fun growing up in the 90s, especially Uptown.
Absolutely, because it was very multicultural. Because I grew up there as well. Very multicultural. It was a lot of things going on. But you definitely had a sense of swag. You know, like I would always tell people from uptown DC have a different swag. They kind of talk different. They kind of approach things different or whatever. But they've always had a real entrepreneurial attitude up there as well, especially when you go up, from Georgia Avenue all the way uptown where they had Jamaican shops. They had Columbia Heights. It was always multicultural and always, you was always able to learn a different perspective. What was the first entrepreneurial thing that you ever jumped into? Like what was the first time something clicked in your head to say, I should take a leap of faith? Could you explain to them? You about to laugh.
I'm getting ready to blow you all's mind. And I'm going to be so honest, and don't fall out of your chair when I say this. Do not fall out of the chair. Promise me that you will not fall out of your chairs.
We are not falling out of our chair.
And
we don't have insurance.
And my mother is watching this, and I know she's probably going to, I know she's not going to say what I think she's going to say. Well, back in the day, I used to run a business. Back in the day. Now, I said I made some bad decisions. Remember in the beginning of this conversation?
Yes, you did.
Growing up.
You were open with that.
Back in the day, early 90s, mid 90s, I ran a business. And what I did, I put parties together for people. I set men out with women. I hosted parties. And that probably was the most money I made as an entrepreneur in my life.
Okay, hold on, Dana. Hold on here. Hold on. Let me just backstep a little bit. You said you set men up with women, and that was this a part of the party? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was parties. Like guys would want to have parties, and the girls would like the guys that wanted to party. So I would set them up with parties, and that was probably the most money that I've ever made as an entrepreneur in my life. No, I would say before you make the bag. Before you make the bag, that was the most money that I probably made as an entrepreneur in my life. But that was in the early 90s.
And we're just saying parties, just generic part. We're just saying parties. Mom is watching. So Bootsy, we're just saying parties in general.
Right, parties.
We'll leave it like that.
Right. And it's funny because that was during a time when I really didn't have any direction, but I knew I wanted to be the boss, if that makes sense. I didn't have any direction. I knew I wanted to be a boss. I knew I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. So my entrepreneurial mindset was like, okay, you have these people over here that want to be around these people over here. Let's put this together so it can make sense for me. So it wasn't the right thing for being an entrepreneur, but that was the first time that I realized that I could create and make things happen by myself.
And so Danny, we're going to talk about your play, which is about a woman's love. So
right.
Dana, early on, it sounds like, because I think, and it never gets talked about, early on, it sounds like you understand what men are looking for and what women are looking for. And sometimes I think some women don't understand the basics of men 101 and what they're looking for and how they move. It sounds like you had a little insight early on. And if that's the case, give us a couple things that women maybe don't understand, some basics about men that you in your experience.
That's a great transition, Mark. Great job.
Thank you.
Well, I would say that women have to realize that you can't make a man act the way you want him to act. I don't care how beautiful you think you are, how bad your body is. You cannot make him act the way you want him to act. He has to want to be that man. That's one thing. And then another thing is you have to allow men to be men. So many women like myself, we are strong women. So we want to be the boss all the time. No, when you're with the man, you can't be the boss. The man is the lead. The man is the leader. And I think in this day and age, so many women, they're just used to, I'm the boss. I make things happen. And they take that into their households. And even like with myself, my husband is an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. We do everything together as far as business. Man is the leader. He's the leader. I respect him as the man. He's the lead. I follow him. I have my own voice, but I trust him enough to let him lead me. And I think a lot of women don't do that. They don't let their guards down. And I don't know if it's because they've been hurt before, but I just feel like women have to allow men to be men more often.
Well, and I will say this in defense of women. I'll say this in defense of women, Bootsy. Here's the challenge. Your dad, Dana, was a leader. You know what I mean? Your dad, you said he came from the hard scrabble. He lived a hard life. He made decisions. He built a family. He supported and built and made a family, right? Mm-hmm. That person, the only challenge that I think women face, my mom, a single woman, where a lot of women face, the reason why is because a lot of women have not seen men lead, have not seen men be who they need to be in the community, number one. And then let's keep it real. There's a lot of men who have not been, have not shown, they don't know how to be a leader. I mean, they don't know. So like you said, you and your husband are entrepreneurs. And me and Allison are both in the same business. Here's the challenge. If I sucked in media and Allison Seymour is Allison Seymour, she should not be listening to Marc Clarke when he's telling us something about media. You know what I mean? We are equally yoked. You know what I mean? I have, she respects me and she respects me. So therefore my conversation, my advice, she's open to. I know you're the same way. If your husband was not good at what he does, ain't no way Dana's going to follow that leadership. Right. And I think that's the loop that I think sadly as a community, we're kind of caught in, because a lot of people, it's one thing to have a theory about something, is, as you know, Dana, is another thing when you putting grip up, putting money up, and blah, 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 blah. And I think, so that's one of the loops that happens a lot. And that's a whole other conversation, but I understand exactly what you're saying. Because Allison came from a husband and wife situation and had a mom and dad, and she saw a dynamic of two loving people. Her belief in me comes from her belief in her dad. Right. And so many women have not had that. They don't believe, they haven't had a man that they ever believed in, and their mama didn't either. And so it's kind of, we're stuck in this loop. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but also, Dana.
No, I get it.
And what the flip side, Dana, what is something about women that guys get wrong? You know what I mean? It's like, because I think I will say this one thing I noticed, Dana, and we'll talk about the play. One thing I noticed, me and Allison, we were going back and forth about something. And what I realized in the midst of the argument was, it really wasn't about the argument. What her issue was she was feeling like I was judging her. You know what I mean? I saw like a hurt in her face. I saw it was, because I'm arguing. I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? What am I missing? And I saw this look in her eyes of like, almost like a judgment. Like she felt like the way I was saying it and the way whatever, I'm like he's judging me and I don't need to be judged, but it was like, there's like little nuances that I noticed that, it wasn't what it was about. Most of the time when you're arguing, it ain't what it's really about. It's about something else. Not being heard, not being understood, not listening. But what's something that guys get wrong about women, or what we try to do,
Well, from my personal experience, I would have to say, um, a lot of men want what they saw in their moms. The ones that did have their moms around, a lot of men want what they've seen in their moms, and they look at how their moms did things back in the day and what their mom would have done. But the times have changed now. We are not the same type of mothers. We have gone through different experiences. So I think a lot of men, when they look at women, they compare them to what they're used to seeing their mom do. And then women are just totally different from how they were back in the day. And I think another thing is with me is I ran into a lot of men before my husband, Brian, that thought they could change me. You have to let a woman be who she is. I know several people from the past and people that I had close relationships with. They're married and they're not even who they really are around their mate. Like, how can you be this way when we're together, but when your husband or your boyfriend's around, you're the total opposite? To me, that has to be miserable, not being able to be who you are around the person who's supposed to be the closest to you. And I think that's because so many men just try to change women. And a lot of women conform to that change that their man expects. So with me, men tried that before, but it didn't work with me. You cannot grab me up. Like, you have to allow me to be me. And that's why I'm married right now, because my husband has from day one allowed me to be me, accepted me for my flaws, my imperfections, and I've done the same for him. So I think it takes two people just saying that, okay, this is who I am, this is who I am, and we're gonna rock with who we really are, and we're gonna work through the, the little nicks and knacks of the relationship.
Come on, Dana, preach now.
Shit, and prophesizing today.
Man, I have a friend, and Dana. It was funny. You know how when two of your friends get married, and Dana, like you said, when she married my friend, I didn't even know who she was. She was a totally different person, and of course, they were together for like a decade. But it was always weird because I was like, who is this person? And then now she's back to herself. They ain't together no more. But it's interesting. It's very, yes, Mr. Vegas.
Yeah, only because we own the relationship question, and I know that that Dana is a master at observing, observation, and dealing with people. First of all, let me give a supreme shout out to Sassy. Again, one of my favorite people in the whole world, one of my favorite singers in the whole world, who's in your play. But before we get into
yes, she is. That's my sister.
Before we get into the play, I would love to know, what advice would you give people, men or women, who are trying to date in their 40s? Because that seems to be a thing around here in DC. You know what I mean?
Are you asking for somebody, Bootsy?
Yeah, a listener. I don't know, a listener.
What advice would I get? And it's crazy because I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to help you with that answer, because I just told my husband, I sat in this kitchen the other day and said, I am so glad I'm not in the dating world anymore, because all of the mess I see, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't have the strength, the time, or the ability to deal with all of the nonsense that I see, all of the games. So to be honest, I can't even tell you I can't give you advice for dating right now in this era, because I couldn't even imagine it from what I see, to be honest.
Oh, wow, you're so lucky.
I'll give you advice, Bootsy Vegas.
Hold on. It ain't for me, it's for the listeners.
Bootsy, we can get you a woman. Look, no. I will say, first of all, go see Dana's play, because Dana, I know she's trying to hold out. She got some answers. When you watch the play, you're going to get some of these questions answered. I think, here's my thing. I think right now, you can never go wrong with being your authentic self, period. That's exactly it. And you don't have to conform to the BS either. It's like there's a lot of, all these methods and dating apps and texting and da-da-da. And so, because I think if you know who you are and you stay who you are, you then more aware of, you can see more people, you see people more clearly. I always tell, and my technique ain't never failed. My daughter's going through a friendship right here. It's my flag system, Dana. Okay, so we talking, and if the person does what they say they do, all is well. First time flags start popping up, it's a flag, and don't look past the flag. If they said they were going to do something and they didn't do it, Bootsy, flag. If they are shaky on who they say they are, they switching up stories. Ain't flag. And then lastly, if you were dating and it's emotional and drama, out.
Yeah.
That was my technique. People like, I never had no drama when I dated because I'm dating. Dating ain't drama. Marriage is you saying I'm signing up for this person. Dating is I'm trying to figure it out. If it's too stressful when we're dating, if it's stressful at all, for me, it was always a wrap. I wasn't that invested. I don't love you. I don't know you. I love myself. If being with you doesn't add on to my joy, then you ain't the one.
Amen.
That's it. Ain't no complex. Ain't no, people. Some people have a lot of drama. I don't have a lot of drama. If we're going out and you always got something going on, what happened? You pick them up. What happened? I remember one good story. I picked her up on my birthday, right? She got in the car and she started crying. It was my birthday. And she started talking about some issue. I was like, I drove her right back to her house. I was like, I'll see you. It's my birthday. It's not the day that we're dealing with your emotional. Because again, would you ever do that? If it's somebody's birthday, would you ever go, I'm going to go on and go along and bring down the mood for it because it's your birthday? No. So that's my advice. So anyway, sorry guys.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, so listeners, I hope you listen to Mark. He really helped you. All I'm trying to do is help people 40 and over trying to date. Thank you, guys.
It wasn't for Bootsy. Okay.
Why are you laughing, Dana? Why are you laughing at me, Dana?
So Dana.
I'm your friend, Dana. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm sorry.
Uptown Dana.
Dana, a woman's love. Now, boy, this looks good. And here's the thing I love about this. Back to Dana's drive. So Dr. Lavelle, Doc was telling me, Dana, because we're talking. I work with Dr. Lavelle about the plays and stuff. He said, Mark, I got this young lady that is going to be bringing this play. And man, he said, what I love about her is she's a go-getter. She makes things happen. And sure enough, Bootsy, plays up, tickets selling like hotcakes. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, Bootsy? It wasn't how
where the money reside.
People coming out, they supporting. That means Dana has a team, a group of people who believe in her off the rip. This is, you know what I'm saying? And this just tells you, Dana, we're attaching to your coattails to take you ride to the top, because this is the same way with Tyler Perry back in the day. And Bootsy, I didn't attach to the coattails. I should have attached. He come to Baltimore.
I appreciate y'all.
He'd sell it out. And now Dana, tell us about the play. Tell us about can we still get tickets, and tell us everything.
Okay, well, A Woman's Love brings mental health awareness to the forefront.
Ooh.
The story is about family. It's about love. It's about trials and tribulations. And it's as real and raw as it will probably get on stage. And I say that because in order for something to be as impactful as I wanted this story to be, I had to create something. And my something might be something that a lot of people aren't used to seeing on stage, but I wrote it my way. And I've had people who were potential sponsors years ago that said, we would love to be a part of it. And two of them were very big organizations, but they said, would I water it down some? Basically, that's what they asked me. And I said, no, I wouldn't water it down, because then that changes my story. So you want me to make this your story now? And I was not willing to do that. Wow. I wrote this story about, I guess it's like 11 years now. I keep saying 10 years, but I've been saying that every year. So it might be about 11 or 12 years ago that I actually wrote it. And I wrote it with no intentions, literally no intentions. I had a friend come visit me from LA. He saw the script. He read it. We were on our way out the door. He said, I don't want to leave until I finish reading this. I'm like, are you serious? He read it, went back to LA. He scheduled a meeting for me. I had a meeting with a group of 7 people who I never met. Like I said, I had no intentions for the script. When I wrote that years ago, I didn't want to be a playwright. I just started thinking one day about things that were going on, things that I was seeing, and I just started writing, and he just happened to see it. So long story short, this organization, one of the biggest organizations, and I don't want to say who it's attached to because I'm going to give some stuff away, but it's a very large organization in the DC metropolitan area. And they wanted to buy my script. They wanted to buy the rights for my script. But I chose not to sell it. I chose not to sell it. And I chose not to sell it for various reasons, because I would have sold it and probably got pennies for it. And they wanted to take my name completely off of it.
Come on
And
now.
and I'm like, no, I wrote this. Like, I don't want to they wanted to take my name completely off of it. Period.
Dana, let me interject just 1 second. I just want to say this, and I don't want to mess up your story. But you know what, Bootsy? Shout out to Howard University, because Dana and many others, including myself, we learned a valuable lesson about life and things that we would accept and would never accept again in our life. And by going through that blessing, Dana, it made you stand in your truth and be like, I ain't ever bowing, I ain't never bending the knee again to take away from what I'm doing. So shout out. Sometimes somebody watching this, you may be going through something and it's making you mad and you're sad, but what you don't realize is it's giving you courage to step out, to jump out the window. But don't jump out the window too soon. Sometimes you need to stay in the window to get them checks, but you already have made up your mind that I'm going to do and step into my light, as Dana has stepped into her light. Go ahead, Dana. They said they wanted to buy it, but Dana said, I'm good. No, sir, I'm good.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I said, no, I'm going to just keep it. I'm going to hold on to it. And the meeting, to me, I said this before, it was kind of disrespectful because my name at the time was Dana Hicks, and I was introduced as Dana Hicks by a mutual friend, but I was never called Dana Hicks. I was referred to the entire meeting as sweetheart, darling. Do you know what we could do for you? We could do for you things that you could never do for yourself. Who helped you write this? Like, I wasn't intelligent enough to write this by myself. It was a ton of insults, and instead of taking it as, okay, I'm just gonna leave out of this room with my tail between my legs and like it's just over, I said, you know what? All of the insult and all of the things that I felt were insults, I'm going to take those and turn them into positives. They wanted to buy my script. They called me in for 2 meetings. This is a multi-million-dollar organization. They kept saying the word global. This is something that could be impactful globally. Who helped you write this? I took that as, this is phenomenal. Like, the insult was you couldn't have written this by yourself. So I took that as a positive. They think my script is phenomenal. So I took all of the negative things and I said, you know what? I'm going to hold on to this. And I held on to that thing for years and years. And then I had a friend of mine who was like a sister to me, walk me to the front door of what was supposed to be my debut. And this was about 7 years ago. Got all the way up until the day that it was time to pay the theater, and she just never called me again, never emailed me again, just dropped off the face of the earth after she told me she had the check for the theater. Never talked to her again. So I'm like, okay, God, here we go again. It's not meant, okay, but I'm gonna hold on to it. And let me just say this, Gil Nelson, my director, has been by my side from day one. Through all my trials and tribulations, he has never left my side. So then I said, okay, let me hold on to it. Then I said, okay, Dana, let's try this again. And we made it through 3 rehearsals. Then COVID hit, shut down the whole world, shut it down again. I'm like, okay, here we go again. But I'm still not saying it's not meant for me to do this. I'm okay, you pushed it back again, God. You had a purpose, you had a reason. So I'm gonna sit back again, hold on to this thing. And then Dr. Lavelle Long called. He was like, I got the residency at Bethesda Blues and Jazz. You're gonna have your stage play there. You're going to go first. You're going to do 2 nights. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not doing 2 nights. I can't do 2. This is my first one. 2? Like, no, I need to do 1. And he was like, you can do 2. I don't want to hear that. And then my husband saying the same thing in my ear at home. You can do 2 nights. What do you mean you can't do 2? You can do 2. I'm like, this is my first time. But then I said, you know what? The motivation that they're giving me is what I give everybody. But I never have anybody giving me that, right? So they were just like punching me. You can do it. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. When I tell you guys, I've been beating the streets like back in the 90s. We had like 2,000, I think it was 2,000 flyers that we got totally. I have been hand to hand, passing out flyers in the streets like back in the day, everywhere I go. I don't care if I'm at the grocery store, and I live in Virginia. I'm passing out flyers in Virginia. I'm passing out flyers everywhere I go. I go to the mailbox, I see a neighbor. Hey, let me get you this. I'm talking to people. I've just been hitting the pavement, and I'm just blessed to have a cast that has a lot of support and so many social media friends, like people that I've never met. It's overwhelming, the people that have been in my inbox saying that you inspire me and I'm proud of you. And I bought tickets, I bought tables. So here I am now, and I just look at it like God had a plan. I felt like it was terrible things just kept happening to me, but I had no clue that he was positioning me to be able to be a stronger woman, to have more knowledge, and to be in a place that I never dreamed of being at. And that's Bethesda Blues and Jazz. I just feel like
now, Dana Hicks, I see you out there. I see you.
Wow.
Man, Dana Hicks-Hungerford, and fall down 7, get up 8.
Wow.
I want everybody watching this to, you may feel like you got kicked, you fell down. Maybe maybe somebody kicked you, you needed to see the boot. Maybe you needed to identify the boot. So Dana you're going to do the play at these different joints, but now you're at Bright Lights Big City, a beautiful venue. You're doing 2 shows so you can make your money back. You're working with a brother who believes 100% in you. You got a husband and a community that got your back. There ain't nothing but God, and it's the beginning of an amazing journey. So Dana, thank you so much. That's so inspirational. And so if people want to get tickets, how do we get the tickets?
you can go to the website bbjlive.com. All of the tables are sold out for Saturday and Sunday. The theater seats are almost sold out for Saturday and Sunday. I think as of yesterday, it was 180 tickets left. My husband is on it. He counts them. He's like, okay, baby, we're 181 tickets away. But I've had people inbox me since yesterday saying I got my tickets. So yesterday it was 181 tickets, and I'm claiming 2 sold out shows by next Saturday. And I just want to say, you guys, that I have a phenomenal cast. I have a phenomenal team.
Yes, you do. One of them, I just can't wait to see. I'm sorry. One of them, I can't wait to see if you're going to have her singing in that. But I know one thing I would love to ask. Could you, is there a plot twist in it? Because I'm trying to understand because I know you talked about, it started about mental health. Could you give us just a little bit more insight on exactly what it is?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Now, let me just tell you this. And I'm confident enough that I'm going to say this, and I'm confident enough that everybody that walks out of the theater is going to feel this way. When you leave, some stage plays, you leave, you clap. Oh, that was good. And you leave, and you might tell somebody about it. This stage play, everybody is going to tell somebody about it. Everybody's going to talk about it. People are going to be talking about it for days to come. And I'm also claiming that with this phenomenal cast, the team that I have working in the background, DC Black Broadway, Hungerford Distribution, Gil Nelson, that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning for everybody in theater, locally and nationally, because our big mission is to do stuff outside of the DMV. And I just feel like it's happening now. And we're coming together to show people that when you come together, great things can happen. So we're just getting started.
Okay, so while you're here, Dana Hicks-Hungerford, we need to go ahead and make a commercial that I play during, as we head up to the show. So when I count you down, you just say, "Hey, what's up? This is Dana Hicks," and then talk about your play, and that'll be the commercial that I'll play. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Here we go. We do it live, baby. 3, 2, 1.
This is your girl, Dana Hicks-Hungerford, and I am the playwright for the upcoming stage play, A Woman's Love. A Woman's Love brings mental health awareness to the forefront, and this is a stage play that you will never forget, with a phenomenal cast, a phenomenal team, and a phenomenal director. And it's being brought to you under the residency of DC Black Broadway at Bethesda Blues and Jazz. To purchase your tickets, go to bbjlive.com and don't miss it. We have shows for May 14th and 15th. A Woman's Love is a stage play that you will never forget.
Go ahead, One Take Jackson. Dana, One Take Jackson.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I forgot. I almost forgot. See, my mind is everywhere. I have to say something that I have not said at all. I almost forgot because I don't have notes.
And you said a lot so far today.
We have a surprise for our guests. If you purchase a ticket, you will not just see a stage play. You will have live performances. You will have a performance by Marquise Damon, and a lot of people know him from as Keith from playing with Familiar Faces first, and then playing currently with Team
Still
Familiar.
familiar. Absolutely.
So now he is Marquise Damon, and he is doing this solo thing as well. And he is definitely going to give you guys a show. And then my second artist is Anastasia Sky, and she's phenomenal. She has a sultry voice. And I just wanted to tell everybody that this is going to be an experience, not just a stage play, but an experience. And it's hosted by the one and only Marc Clarke of the Marc Clarke Morning Show. So if you don't have your tickets, y'all better get it. This is going to be awesome.
You'll never have to see me do that dance again. But look, we're excited. It's so funny, Dana. So, how did you know that you have that? I mean, have you been doing entertainment all this time? I mean, aside from the parties, because you have a flair. You have a flair about you. Have you been in that space for this whole time?
No. Well, I've done, like we were saying, I've done internet radio. I've done that for years. I started a show called DMV Socialites, and then I was on Spotlight Over the City. I started Spotlight Over the City as one of the original hosts with Stan Long. And also I've done acting. Like I was in The Gears with DC Black Broadway. I was in Confessions of a Side Chick with DC Black Broadway. I was in Decades with Gil Nelson. Like I've done a lot of plays with both Timeless Entertainment, that's Gil Nelson and Pam, and DC Black Broadway. And I've done like small parts on like TV One, the ID channel. So I've been in the arena, but this is my first time stepping in as a producer and the writer. And to be honest, I think I'm going to stay in this lane. I like producing and I like writing. And I think I found the lane for me.
Bootsy Vegas, I know you got a question. We said a performer, Bootsy, you thought you was going to sing. Were you asking about a performer who's also an actress?
Yeah, well, she has a lot of successful, because Dana is in all circles. She kind of answered the question about the singers at the end or whatever. But one of my favorite vocalists and people in the world that most people don't know about is Sassy. And I wanted to know, was Sassy going to be singing? Because a lot of us love Hi Sassy. A lot of us, Hi Sassy. A lot of us love Sassy. Will Sassy be singing?
Sassy is not singing in this one. Not this one. That's all I'll say. Not this one. Sassy is actually one of our understudies. And let me just say this, our understudies are the bomb too. Like understudies are just as important as the cast because they have to be able to step up. So I'm just blessed to have great understudies. They're at rehearsals every week and they are ready to step in and step up. And Sassy is a phenomenal singer. She's my sister, but you'll see her soon. We're working on some other stuff. Trust me.
I sure hope to see her soon. Yes, I do.
Yes,
in a perfect world, I would see Sassy soon.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay. So Dana, once again, how can we get the tickets? I see you, Ronald. Ronald's buying tickets already. I see folks are buying tickets. That's right, Ronald.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. So once again, how can they buy the tickets? I said get the tickets, y'all. It looks like it's heading towards a sellout. Come on, Jesus.
Yes.
Better hurry up.
You can buy your tickets at bbjlive.com. And also follow me at _a woman's love on Instagram and only Dana Dane on Instagram. Dane is Dayne. And if you don't know, there's not a bad seat in the house at Bethesda Blues and Jazz.
That's true. Dana, your story is phenomenal. You got me fired up. Your drive got me fired up.
Thank you.
I love it. When you ask about somebody's reputation and all people talk about is somebody who gets it done, and I love it. So continued success. I'm glad to be a part of the family.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you. And I appreciate y'all so much for even having me on your show. I truly appreciate you guys.
Dana, congratulations. As you know, I have seen it come up. I've seen the hustle. I see you be in all different ventures. But I can honestly say this seems so much like you. You are really deserve it. And for people who may not know, you probably want to get your tickets because when anybody sit down and think of Dana, they're going to want to go support her. So congratulations. You're so deserving. You're well deserving. I can't wait to see what's coming. And this is definitely a correlation of all your hard work, your great business relationships, the way you treat people, the way you interact, the way you give advice, the way you give love, everything. You really deserve this.
Thank you so much.
Finally all coming together. And now I feel a little bit better coming to you, cracking our jokes again like we used to back in the day, back at the station. And the last thing before I saw, I just want to say, hi, Sassy.
He's so crazy.
and Bootsy, good news. Dana just told me she's getting you a light for your house. There you go. So
great.
got that going on. Dana, love you, and I will see you soon.
All right, love you guys. Thank you for having
Congratulations.
Dana killed it, man. And you said, Bootsy, you know what I love about you, Bootsy? You know, first of all, you know every damn body in the DMV.
Yeah.
I have not said one person, and you haven't said either you know them or you know somebody that knows them, right? So, Bootsy, as we're speaking of the DMV,
congratulations, Dana,
the beloved DMV. Bootsy, I had expressed the other day. I want to take it back, but I want you to we wrap things up.
Okay.
Give us a blessing for the DMV and some advice. So many of us, I'm not the only voice, right? Many people who live in Maryland,
Virginia, M-U-R, Merle.
Yes. Many people want to live in the DMV. Many people love the DMV and want to be there. But every time you get that, oh man, let's just do it, you have a run-in with a DC organization. I'm not being specific, Bootsy, because I know you work for a DC organization. All I'm saying is, give us a prayer. Give us some advice. That's what I'm gonna say. How do we love DC? Many of us want to live in DC. We want to do stuff in DC. But you can be so frustrated, you will give up. Bootsy, give the DC some love and give us some perspective to make us not give up and have faith that things will get better when it comes to, if you got to deal with digging a hole, if you got your car, the police, anything regarding DC government, boy, you might. Ooh.
Sounds like you've been having a few episodes this week.
So give us a blessing. Give us some insight.
Well,
some positive, some salve, if you will. That no, Mark, calm down. This is why DC still is the best.
Yeah. Well, let me just give you this advice. Whenever you're dealing with certain fractions of DC, DC government, not all of them, some of them, you definitely have to walk in knowing you got to pack your patience. Pack your patience.
Now, hold on, Bootsy. This is great. Give us 3. So, number 1, pack your I love that, Bootsy. Look at you, boy. This is why I pay you the big bucks on this show. Number 1.
With the money reside. Pack your patience. Yeah. Number 2, and you got to really understand this, because you'll walk in, because it's a government, having an expectation, omit the logic. Everything won't be logical. Omit the logic, like what you may have an expectation of.
Bootsy, you are killing this. This is, oh my God. This was you're right. This is great. This would make, I could survive.
Sounds like I have some experience in this though, right?
Pack your patience.
Omit the logic. Omit the logic. Yeah, like what you think would be a logical expectation of what you may get in the midst of it. You know what I mean? May not always be. Omit the logic. You know what I mean? And all of your government experiences will be what you make it. You got to paint your own government experience. You got to paint the picture. You know what I mean? Omit the logic. You know what I mean? But paint the picture the way you want. So just know that. But pack your patience, logic, and paint the picture the way what your experience will be is what you make it and what you take from it. Because if you pack your patience and you're going into it omitting the logic, you will have a better perspective of what the outcome is. And one thing about DC, it's never a quick instantaneous thing. It's not going to be if you ever get a government experience and it's instantaneously, you should really go to church and say, man, thank you, because that is not always going to happen when you're dealing with these fractions in the District of Columbia government. You know what I mean? Now I can give you one more, Drew. We got
a bonus, y'all. Bonus.
I have a great friend. Well, I won't even say his name, but DC government is like this. You got the real DC natives who been here, and then you have all of the imports and the new people here. The government services are never intended for the people in Georgetown and them well-to-do areas. You know, the government, they know who these government services are. That is why the customer service interaction can be like that. So just take in mind what you're dealing with, how you're dealing with it, and what's in mind. And remember who it's for, and have an understanding or who they think it's for. You got to remember that.
Okay, now Bootsy, you might be sharing too much now. Now I'm concerned. Okay, enough. But that right there, you just hit a bar on that one, as the kids say. That's a bar.
Yeah.
Wow. Who it's for, Bootsy? Wow.
Yeah, because DC has this. Here's an unknown fact about DC. Okay, so I'm gonna break it down. DC is into 3 fractions right now, and I learned this because I campaigned for somebody 2 years ago. You have the DC native, you have the Caucasian and other ethnic gentrifiers, and then you have the new African American who is moving here that don't like nothing about the DC natives. Everybody has a different agenda. Everybody has a different perspective, and everybody is here to get something and accomplish something different. So you have to understand that triangle that we live in. It is no longer Chocolate City 90%, 90. So I remember when it was 80. I remember when it was like 96%. You know what I mean? So just understand the fractions, because sometimes I remember when I was campaigning for my former student named Marcus Batchelor, who was running for at-large council member. I would say, hey man, he is the only person from east of the river. He's a young man with 2 degrees. He chose this force. And they was like, yeah, so what do east of the river got to do with me? I mean, I don't live over, like a lot of black people told me that.
Wow.
Actually, the gentrifiers and Caucasian and other, they identified like, yeah, they probably should get something over there. But a lot of times you will assume but a black person, you gotta figure out where they from. So the person, and this is when I realized, okay, DC is different. So he was running against a person who was an African American, and he said, "How you doing? My name is such and such. I went to an Ivy League school. I went to Penn University. I'm a successful real estate agent, and I would love to help you have a stake in DC the next 10 to 15 years." That pitch wasn't for me. My pitch was people east of the river needed some of these services from this $15.6 billion budget. His thing was, yeah, I'm an Ivy League educated black man. I'm a former lawyer, and that's when I realized, okay, this is different. And when you look at government services, who will be needing those? The guy that went to an Ivy League school, who's a successful real estate agent in his Gold Coast clique, they don't need none of those girls. They don't need none of that stuff. That ain't even for them. Now let me get my property. Let me get my government contracts. Let me get my, you know what I mean? So it's very different now.
Mr. Vegas, you not only are a soothsayer, but you need to stop talking, because now I open up to keep it too real. Remember, Bootsy, now you can't keep it too real,
because we're gonna have to erase one of these episodes again. You're right. And we stay erasing episodes. We stay having to erase episodes.
That's in fact our show motto. We stay erasing episodes.
And we have erased a few that if somebody went back and looked, they'd be like, what? You know what I mean? So yeah.
So Mr. Vegas, that's gonna wrap it up.
Can I
Friday, we got artist Jay Brown joins us tomorrow. What's going on?
Okay. Hold on. The gospel artist Jay Brown?
No, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's segueing. He's segueing.
Okay. I'm a fan of his. I can't wait for that one.
I knew
Today, Oxon Hill Manor, 7 to 12.
Yeah, what we doing?
Raheem Devon birthday celebration featuring Raheem Devon and the Prank Crusaders. Dana Dane said something about how something was happening, and then boom, COVID came and it kind of put the production. Me and Raheem Devon have the album that we already have out. Actually, Allison interviewed us on Fox 5 right before she left, actually, about this. And
okay, Bootsy, let me just say you do a terrible job of promoting what you have. Number one, you and Raheem Devon have an album out. Why are we playing videos? Why are we playing the song?
It's not out yet. Hold on, I'm sorry. It hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
We had an album. It was coming out right before COVID.
Okay.
Boom, COVID happened. You know what I mean? So, but today is our first show in 2 years. We are now have picked it up. Raheem has an album coming out tomorrow. He has an R&B album that's coming out tomorrow. And then we will be releasing Raheem Devon and the Crank Crusaders. And I'm really excited about it.
And Bootsy, so you are the Crank Crusaders?
It's me and Raheem's band. I am the music director and the producer.
Again, you're horrible at promoting. We need to have, where's the Crank Crusaders? Where's the damn banner? Where's the music? Where's the video? Come on, Bootsy Vegas.
There is a video for me promoting. Shout out to Guy Lambert because he's going to be hosting the show tonight. My homie from.
Uh-oh.
Anymore.
Are you locked up, Bootsy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said my homie, then I didn't hear anything else. What'd you say?
Yeah, my homie Guy Lambert will be hosting. The news guy from WPGC. That's my guy.
I love Guy. So, okay, Bootsy, I want to come now. Do I need to buy tickets?
No. You're on my guest list, so that's all good. I'll send you all the information in a very few minutes. It's from 7 to 12 today. Happy hour is going down. We're celebrating Raheem Devon's birthday today.
Okay, Bootsy. Now, do I? I had the seersucker on the other night. The seersucker, it wasn't white, but it was a seer, with the stripes, the lights. Is it that kind of joint, that kind of stuff, or is it more like a t-shirt jean? Is it more? What's my look?
I would say stylish, urban stylish.
Urban stylish.
Yes. So you ain't got to put no suit on, but you can't wear no sweatsuit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm wearing
I might just put the suit on just because,
yeah, but it is, you know what I mean? But I'm happy tonight that we finally get to redo this because it was a sore spot. Me and Samantha Gunny and Raheem, we did an amazing album, and I was beginning to think that this album would never see the light of day. I've been holding on to this album for almost 3 years now. So that's what it is. Hi, Sassy.
Sassy said, is Sassy coming? Now, Sassy,
I hope Sassy coming.
I get the feeling Sassy knows she's going to be fine, dressed up fine as hell, right? She's going to be doing what she do.
I pray Sassy is coming.
Okay. All right. Bootsy, what about you? I know what you going to be wearing, son.
The drip going to be the drip. Hey, one thing about the drip going to be the drip. You know what I mean?
Bootsy, are you going to be ignoring me?
First of all, you have revitalized my media journalism career. If it's one person on this earth that I cannot ignore, I should never ignore, is you. You know what I mean? I have these 10 a.m. call times, and even when I get things confused, like today, thinking that we was not going to be on, we're going to be on tomorrow. Hey, there it is. But yeah, man, it's a celebration. Oxon Hill Manor. You still can buy tickets. It's the luxurious Oxon Hill Manor right by the National Harbor. Raheem Devon birthday celebration. We are relaunching Raheem Devon and the Crank Crusaders band. And the other thing is, I make this funny joke with him. I am the Maurice White of the group. He's the Philip Bailey.
Kevin from Columbia says, Mark, you better wear a t-shirt, urban casual. All right, all right, Kevin. All right, Kevin from Columbia, from DC.
No. Because technically it was supposed to be a gala. But I think because they kind of like, and also it is a fundraiser for his organization and an organization in PG County. So yeah, which is one of the reasons why Guy Lambert kind of got involved. Okay. But we also celebrating Raheem Devon's birthday and the release of his new album coming out tomorrow. And I'm grateful that this man allows me to be his music director. He could have chose a bunch of people, and I don't often get to do my music side no more. You know what I mean? Because of COVID. I don't get to be the musician no more. So
here it is. He coming out, y'all. He coming. Well, Bootsy, another exciting show tomorrow. Jay Brown joins us. I'll see you tonight, bro. Let me get my urban wear together.